Partnership with Peter and her leadership at USC is her role in public education in Los Angeles. Her career in the LA Unified School District spanned 62 years, and she worked as a teacher, superintendent's coordinator of integration programs, administrative coordinator of university relations, and a principal. She retired in 2005 after 23 years as principal of Franklin Avenue Elementary School in Los Feliz. I remember well sitting with Verna when she was recognized by the Half-Century Trojans with its Alumni Service Award. Several times during that luncheon, parents and former students of Verna's came up to hug her and to tell her of their still sharp memories of her and her early morning announcements. They always talked about that. They talked about how she challenged them to strive for excellence in its fullest sense, not just through academic subjects, through active engagement with all parts of society, including the arts which are so vital in nourishing children in all their capacities and their ethical development. She also represented LAUSD in the Great Cities Research Council, where education leaders from some of the nation's largest cities met and shared and developed best practices. Among her many activities in the public sphere, she was appointed by Governor Wilson to the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing, and she served for 2 terms as chair of that body. USC PDK also affirms, as does USC, a commitment to rigorous research and to inspired education as essential to a well-functioning democracy. Verna's newest project at the university is the support and leadership with respect to the Verna and Peter Dauterive Hall for Interdisciplinary Social Sciences, and that support amplifies a similar commitment to USC's. Our university's DNA includes a long-standing mission to producing interdisciplinary and policy-relevant research, creating centers and institutes that span schools, appointing transformative faculty with consequential research that draws on several disciplines, and encouraging students to consider interdisciplinary majors and minors. Verna and Peter Dauterive Hall, which you will see rising from the place where our university club once stood, takes this intellectual commitment a step further by creating a physical place purposely designed to expand opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration. It is a building overseen directly by the provost, the only building on this campus to have that distinction, I suppose. The provost working with the deans and focused on faculty and students from the social science professional schools and from the social sciences departments in the Dornsife College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. Already, groups that will be located in this building, which will open in fall of 2014, have assembled faculty from Rossier and other parts of our campus interested in rigorous policy work on education to talk about possibilities that space of this kind might provide. This work, the work that will occur in this building, will help us better understand decision-making and allow us to harness the promise of big data to improve policy at the federal, state, and local level. Verna is actively involved throughout the planning process of this building, working closely with me in my office, and she has been the genius behind one aspect of the building that I think will be especially responsible for important work that will change society. Verna early on advised me to allow any of the centers in the building to have their own kitchenettes. She said that we had to design central spots that will force our caffeine-dependent professors out of their offices and into greater physical proximity with others. Third, PDK is international, and certainly Verna's activities with the Rossier School have been global as well. She traveled to Germany and Spain, teaching classes for the school. This was before the MAT at USC and our online presence that spans the globe, but I think it is the foundation for that kind of commitment. While she was abroad, she administered a special study in Europe on the feasibility of expanding the school's overseas programs in administration, teacher training, and counseling, while also providing leadership for the overseas expansion of the 5 USC School of Education support organizations. I have traveled not only around the country, also to Asia with Verna, so she continues her global focus. And I know her guidance to Karen Gallagher has been instrumental as our Rossier School begins innovative new international programs like the Global EDD with Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. Fourth, PDK believes, as we all do, that diversity strengthens this association, this university, and our nation. And Verna Dauterive has been a leader in supporting diversity and ensuring that talented minority students and teachers thrive. She and Peter played a key role in the formation of the Black Alumni Association, helping then President John Hubbard create this vibrant organization and then serving as the first major donors to the BAA. She has been appropriately honored by the BAA in 1977 with their Achievement Award and in 2008 with the Founders Award. But I think the greatest testament to Dr. Dauterive's work in this realm comes from the testimonies of some of the recipients of the Dauterive Scholarship in Rossier, the university's first scholarship for minority doctoral students in education. Dean Campbell, a recipient of the scholarship, said, "The scholarship has given me the confidence to know I can achieve full membership in the academic community as an administrator, scholar, and person of color. I know I also continue to carry a responsibility to continue a tradition of excellence established through Verna Dauterive's esteemed career as a school administrator." Finally, I was struck by a phrase of Emery Stoops that was quoted in his memorial when he passed away only a few years ago at 106 years of age. He said that USC was his academic and spiritual home. My sense that Dr. Verna Dauterive would say the same thing. Her connection to the School of Education is deep. Not surprisingly, she received the school's Alumni Service Award twice in 1973 and 1995. But her home is the entire university. As its trustee, a life member of Town and Gown, the inspiration behind Verna and Peter Dauterive Hall, a supporter of many schools, especially the Marshall School of Business, Peter's alma mater, the Rossier School of Education, her special home, and the USC libraries, where she and Peter met, and the prototypical interdisciplinary space where professors and students from around the university come to work together. On the occasion of the groundbreaking of Dauterive Hall, I presented Verna with a book restored by the USC libraries as part of its shelf life program. It is an 1848 first edition of John Stuart Mill's Principles of Political Economy. And I used a quote then from Mill, which I'll use to conclude, because it seems apt as an introduction to Verna's remarks. Mill captured what is special about a university and what is particularly special about this university, and what I believe has inspired Verna to devote so much of her life and energy to education and to USC. Mill wrote, "No great improvements are possible in the lot of mankind until a great change takes place in the fundamental constitution of their modes of thought." Verna has been encouraging all of us at USC for decades to embrace the notion that fundamental intellectual change is necessary to ensure policy improvement. And it was with tremendous great pleasure that I introduce tonight my friend and my inspiration, Dr. Verna Dauterive.
What an honor it is to be introduced by Provost Elizabeth Helen Garrett, our own Helen of Troy, the first woman provost in the history of the University of Southern California. Thank you ever so kindly, Provost Garrett. Thank you. I also would like to acknowledge and thank Phi Delta Kappa President, Dr. Ed Roe-Billard, Dr. Pedro Garcia, the faculty sponsor for PDK, Dean Karen Gallagher, and all the distinguished guests and members of Phi Delta Kappa who are gathered here tonight. I have been a member of PDK for nearly 40 years, and I am both inspired and humbled to come before you as the 50th Stoops Lecturer. I remember my initiation into Phi Delta Kappa in 1975. That was 1 year after DK saw the light and they finally started admitting women. I was very impressed by the mission and vision statement. At that time, initiations were very formal over in the United Methodist Church right here on this campus. It was a very solemn affair, one that really touched one's heart. I was really impressed by the mission statement. And as I reflect back, one of the reasons I was so impressed is that these statements reflect what value and what we are and what we hope to be. It really was a defining moment in my life. Let me take a moment now to reconfirm the statement. Phi Delta Kappa International, the leading advocate for public education, promotes quality education for all students as essential to a democratic way of life by providing innovative programs, relevant research, visionary leadership, and dedicated service. I'm so grateful for all that PDK has taught me. PDK has taught me that we as educators have a responsibility to provide a high-quality education that ensures the potential of every student will be released and fully developed. PDK has taught me what expectations really mean. A time of waiting, of realizing that the fulfillment we seek has not yet been achieved. And PDK has taught me that you get what you expect. It was based in part on what PDK has taught me that I chose the topic for this evening: self-fulfilling expectations, creating a world where all students can learn and can succeed. My 62-year career as an educator demonstrated the power of the self-fulfilling prophecy, or self-fulfilling expectations, as I am calling them tonight. Help students improve their self-esteem, and their achievement will improve. When you give students respect and expect it in return, you will get respect. I strongly believe that all students can learn. Making excuses for students will do them no good. Wrapped around the civil movement way back in the 1960s and 70s was a wide unhappiness with the establishment, and our public schools got caught up in that. Although we broke down outmoded systems and opened up the windows, we unfortunately threw out more than we should have. In some urban schools and large school systems, the sense emerged that we were asking too much of our students. Some of us gave ourselves permission to give up on minority students, poor students, and students with special needs by saying, "Oh, poor little students, we feel so guilty about happening to you, and here's our form of reparation. We'll feel sorry for you. We won't demand you take off your hat and when you walk into a room or speak the King's English. We won't ask you to compete." And if any of those students had too much intelligence and too much drive to be dismissed, they were patted on the head and called a credit to their race. This result was confusion, plain and simple, expecting less and settling for less, or as treasonous as not giving students the opportunity to succeed at all. My long career also provided me opportunity to learn a lot about expectations. Expectations will make or break a student's experience. Expectations show love and faith and a belief that a student can do great things. Expectations are an expression of caring, and without caring, expectations, caring can become pity. High expectations are crucial because they deal with oneself in the moment. And learning is always about being in the moment, where the task is yours, the feat is yours, the effort is yours, the victory is yours. The student has to want to get better, but not only the student must have that desire. As an adult person in the student's life, the teacher too must believe that there is something within the student that she wants him to go find and bring back to the task at hand so that together they can figure things out. If a student believes he can do something and the significant adults in his life believe he can do something, it strengthens his resolve to do it. And that's really what we want. An environment and a situation where both the teacher and student have great resolve. Creating expectations begins with creating excitement, great excitement. And one of the best examples of teachers creating excitement at the university level is at USC Rosia, under the leadership of our amazing Dean Karen Sims Gallagher. This excitement is evident in the school's vision of a world where every student, regardless of personal circumstance, can learn and succeed. This excitement also derives from hybrid high school, a jewel in USC's crown. Now let me tell you a little more about this remarkable school. USC Rossier opened its charter school, the hybrid high school, in September 2012. Hybrid High is an LAUSD public charter school that was designed by USC Rossier and is located in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. Currently, 130 ninth graders are enrolled. Students who were at risk of dropping out of traditional schools. In Los Angeles, only 56% of students graduate from high school. And of those, only 25% have completed the California AG coursework required for college entrance with a C or better. While the dropout rate is often blamed on the students, research shows that 1/3 of students who drop out do so because they can't manage a traditional schedule. This is because many work to support their families or assist with care for elderly family members, siblings, or even their own children. When children in certain circumstances like this begin to fail academically, this deepens their disengagement from school and further increases their risk of dropping out. Looking at these statistics, USC Rossier administrators and faculty members began to think outside the box. They ask, what would happen if access to high school were greatly increased so that students could complete high school on a schedule that would work for them? And what would happen if these students could take ownership of their academic progress with the guidance of a highly skilled faculty? These questions led to the development of Hybrid High. It's a very different learning environment. At Hybrid High, students use new technologies to manage their own personalized schedules. They work on customized depending on their level of subject mastery. And they use flexible schedules to stay on track. Hybrid High is a concrete example of both USC Rossier's mission and PDK's mission to provide equal access to all students and to improve learning in urban education. Hybrid High is also an example of collaboration between the Los Angeles Unified School District and the USC Rossier School of Education. I applaud LAUSD Superintendent John Deasy for his commitment to providing equity and high instruction to all students. His commitment was clearly defined in an article that appeared on the front page of the Los Angeles Times on January 16th, titled, LA Unified to Overhaul Ailing Crenshaw High. At Crenshaw High, dropout rates have soared and student achievement has plummeted to the point where Superintendent Deasy calls the school one of the district's biggest disappointments. So what did he do? He took action. In spite of many parents and community activists who were quick to complain, Deasy plans to turn the campus into 3 magnet schools to make sure student achievement becomes dramatically and fundamentally better. As Deasy said, it is a civil right for students to be able to read and to do mathematics. It is a fundamental right for students to be able to graduate, and this is not happening at Crenshaw. I share this with you because his action demonstrates and confirms both the district's and PDK's mission again of providing innovative programs, visionary leadership, and dedicated service. Every student can learn, we know that, but all students do not learn the same way. Therefore, saying that students can learn means nothing if we don't move on to how they do it. A diverse learning strategy is, for me, the heart of the matter in the student-teacher relationship. A caring and capable teacher builds the confidence for risk-taking and sets expectations. But no two students will acquire any skill the same way. Providing each student with the specific tactics he or she will need to meet expectations is the truly fine work, the art and science of teaching. A caring and capable teacher shows students how they can make a difference. To illustrate this principle, I would like to share a story about how a teacher can learn from a student. Some of you may have heard this story before, and if you have, I hope you will bear with me and allow me to tell it again. Back when I was chair on the California Commission of Teacher Credential, I asked Delane Easton, the California State Superintendent of Public Instruction, to speak to the commissioners. As part of her presentation, she told this heartwarming story. It is such a strong story. It has such a strong message. Even though this was way back in the 1990s, I still vividly remember it. So, with your kind indulgence, here is the Teddy story. The story is about Mrs. Thompson, an elementary school teacher and one of her students. As she stood in front of her 5th grade class on the first day of school, Mrs. Thompson told the children something that was a lie, something less than truthful. Like most teachers, she told her students she loved them all the same. But that was impossible, because there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stoddard. Mrs. Thompson had watched Teddy the year before and noticed that he didn't play well with the other children. His clothes were messy, and he really needed a good bath. He was so unpleasant, Mrs. Thompson actually took delight in marking X's on his paper with a broad red pen and putting a big red F at the top of his paper. But when she reviewed Teddy's school record, Mrs. Thompson was in for a surprise. Teddy's 1st grade teacher had written, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh. He does his work neatly and has good manners. He's a joy to be around." His 2nd grade teacher said, "Teddy is an excellent student. He's well liked by his classmates, but he's trouble because his mother has a terminal illness. Life at home must be a struggle." His third grade teacher wrote, "His mother's death has been hard on him. He does his best, but his father doesn't show much interest. His home life will soon affect him if steps aren't taken." Teddy's fourth grade teacher said, "Teddy's withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. He doesn't have many friends, and sometimes he even sleeps in class." By now, Mrs. Thompson realized the problem, and she felt ashamed of herself. She felt even worse when later that day her students brought her presents. All of the gifts were wrapped in beautiful, bright paper, except for his was clumsily wrapped in heavy brown paper, cut from a grocery bag. But Mrs. Thompson took pains to open it along with the other presents. Some of the children started to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the stones missing and a perfume bottle that was 1/4 full. But she stifled her students' laughter when she put the bracelet on and exclaimed how pretty it was and dabbed her wrist with the perfume. Teddy stayed after school that day, just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smell just like my mom." After all the children had left, she cried for an hour. And on that very day, she quit teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic. Instead, she began teaching children. Mrs. Thompson then paid particular attention as she worked with Teddy, and his mind seemed to just come alive. The more she encouraged him, the faster he responded. By the end of the year, Teddy was one of the brightest stars in the class. And despite her lie, he had become one of her teacher's pets. A year later, Mrs. Thompson found a note slipped under her door. It was from Teddy, telling he was the best teacher he had ever had in his whole life. 6 years went by before she received another note. This time, Teddy wrote that he had finished high school, third in his class, and that she was still the very best teacher he'd ever had. 4 years after that, she received another letter. In this one, Teddy said that while things had been tough at times, he had stuck with it and soon would graduate from college with the highest honors. And he assured Mrs. Thompson that she was still his favorite and the very best teacher that he'd had in his whole life. 4 more passed, and another letter arrived. This time, Teddy explained that after he received his bachelor's degree, he decided to go a little further. He wrote once again that she was still the very best teacher he'd ever had in his whole life. But now his name was a little longer. The letter was signed Theodore F. Stoddard, M.D. But the story doesn't end there. Mrs. Thompson received another letter the following spring. In it, Teddy wrote that he'd met this girl and they were going to be married. He explained that his father died a couple of years ago, and he was wondering whether Mrs. Thompson might sit in the place at the wedding that was usually reserved for the mother of the groom. And of course, Mrs. Thompson agreed. And guess what? She wore that bracelet, the one with the missing rhinestones. And she wore that perfume that Teddy remembered his mother wearing on their last Christmas together. When they hugged each other at the wedding, Dr. Stoddard whispered in Mrs. Thompson's ear, "Thank you for making me feel important and showing me I could make a difference." With tears in her eyes, Mrs. Thompson whispered back, "Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one who taught me that I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you." The Teddy story is a testament to the fact that students are much better off when they work with a caring, capable teacher in a teaching modality that accommodates their individual needs, that accommodates their learning styles. To create a world where all students can succeed, we need more superintendents like John Deasy. We need more deans like Dean Karen Gallagher. And we need more principals who work directly with teachers to motivate them and make sure they are delivering instruction in ways that are meaningful for each child. So don't ever give up on students. Expect them to succeed, and they will succeed. And if ever you get discouraged, if ever, remember the Teddy story.
Thank you so much. We have a few mementos for our guest speaker. And while Dr. Fukuda makes her way, oh, she is up here. Let me start out by, on behalf of the chapter and my fellow board members, we have this beautiful plaque for the Stoops Lecturer plaque. So we're going to present this to you, and we have a few more things.
Oh, my goodness.
You want me to hold this for you? You
Thank
got more to
you.
come here. Let me hold it.
And I need all Phi Delta Kappa International Service Key members to come forward. In our chapter of about 250 active members, this award is given out by, the recommendation for this.
Speak right into it.
Okay, the recommendation for this award is given by the chapter, but it is voted on by the Delta Kappa International Board of Governors. And again, out of 250 people in our chapter that have a service key, that belong to our chapter, only 19 have a service key. So the ratio is very small, and it's a very prestigious, special event, and I would like all of you to acknowledge all of the service key holders and our new service key holder. And this is his pen.
Oh, my goodness.
And let me read to you a little bit about the criteria for a service key. It's tangible evidence of exemplary service to Phi Delta Kappa and public education. It is awarded to members following eligibility requirements at the highest level. The member must have contributed meritorious service, outstanding leadership, and significant research to Phi Delta Kappa as recommended by the chapter and approved by PDK International. The individual must have been a member of Phi Delta Kappa in good standing for a period of at least 7 years preceding the date of applications. Obviously, she has made that many times over. And certainly, I think we would all agree, sight unseen, that Dr. Dauterive has demonstrated exemplary and meritorious service and leadership at the highest possible level and is entitled to receive the service key to which she is awarded today and which has been approved already by Phi Delta Kappa International. And this is for you.
Oh, my goodness.
We have a few more items of business, but when the meeting is over, would all current board members, Dr. Fox, Dr. Gotthold, Dr. Henschke, and the provost, please come up here for pictures. I would appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Yes?
I'd just like to say something.
Okay, you can say something.
Thank you.
Bill Wright is probably the longest member of our chapter that's in attendance tonight, would you say?
Well, I just wanted to say that I attended the first Stoops Lecture in 1964, and a good many of them since. The most inspiring one of all of the lectures. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone here. It's really quite an honor, and I just am overwhelmed with your graciousness, your kindness. Just makes this a special moment in my life. I just remember Dr. Stoops so well. I was a student in his class. Later was a colleague with him. We had many fun times together. I remember that he was such a humanist, one with such love and caring, and especially about PDK. He and his wife were just outstanding leaders. In fact, his wife was the person who said to me, I know you have been giving money to the deans and of Racia and so forth and on, and I think you should go on and just do a scholarship, because in that way, many other youngsters can come and so forth. So they were both very special to me personally, and I'm just deeply honored by all of this, more than I can say. Thanks again so much. Okay.
Did you keep the pin? Okay, yeah, okay, keep it with you.
I remembered when Dean Gallagher got this, and I just never thought I would get this also.
I'm going to put it in here so it won't get lost, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we have one more item to cover this evening, maybe the most important one, the all-important raffle. So I want to invite up our Vice President of Foundations, Dr. Janine Dimple, to conduct the raffle.
Why did you help me? It'll make it go faster. Okay, you get to choose. You know, your money this evening, this has been a very successful evening, and the board and I wish to thank you for your generosity. But what happens is that this money goes back to the Stoops Foundation, where those of you who are in school, looking for a scholarship, whatever, can apply for a scholarship. So we're grateful for your generosity. Okay, take it away. Find somebody to choose a ticket. Oh dear. Okay. I'm going to read the last three numbers. I think. Oh. Oh dear. 4, 4, 7.
You get to choose anything.
4, 4, 7.
In case you don't know which you
All right. Well, I went to get the helpers. Okay, so we've got, all right. All right, the last three numbers are 3, 4, 8. 3, 4, 8. All right. Who's that person?
The chair. Maybe the blanket, I don't know.
Okay.
Take it away. Hide it.
There you go. All right, the last three numbers, 5, 6, 1. 5, 6, 1. Oh, wow. All right. It's okay. If you win, we're still going to give it to you. All right. Okay, the last three numbers, 5, 4, 8. 5, 4, 8. I think we need to stir those up. My.
You stirred it.
Well, I stirred it, but you have to keep stirring it.
You got it?
5, 4, 8. Oh my goodness. 5, 4, 8. Now that's going to keep you nice and cozy, honey. I love it. Do we have a winner for 5, 4, 8? Surely somebody. 5, 4, 8. The last three numbers. Okay, really stir that. Really, whoever selects, stir and Dean, just really stir that thing. All right.
That's stirred.
Oh, that's stirred. Okay. Okay, this is a guarantee stir. Oh, it is. 4, 9, 5. 4, 9, 5. Oh, well, there you go. All right. All right.
I think I want
Hey.
the wine.
Well, you can choose. There's a white and a red. The red is in the red and the white is in the gold. Oh, this is nicely stirred. All right, ready? Get them ready. All right, look, 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 look. Last three numbers. 3, 7, 5. Oh. Well, when you buy 40 tickets, what do you expect? Okay, here we go. 4, 1, 6. 4, 1, 6. Take it away. Oh, Chris. Okay, one more time. Thank you, Chris.
Pick or stir? Pick. No. Stir and
Let me
pick.
stir and pick.
Really stir. Come, you won one, you got to stir one. 484. 484. Well, go, go, go. Hurry. Somebody may take it before you get there. Linda, stir that pot. Well, you don't worry about that. We got to move this show. Okay. All right. All right, ready. Here we go. And 3, 5, 5, 3. Okay, thank you for that, Lisa. One more. Just really stir it. Stir it and stir it. Yeah, you pick one. Okay, here we go. 3, 9, 1. Okay, we'll see. Well, she got 40.
Oh, well.
Lisa, that's very nice. Thank you. I mean, it would be really shameful. All right, are you in the 300s? Well, this is 341, so we'll. Does that mean? All right, go, Rosa. All right,
You got
Rosa.
another one. No, she got it.
All right, all right. Hey! Good for you. Now go over there and choose your medicine. The suitcase is a computer-type suitcase, and there's also the red wine. The cake, you can take that suitcase if you want. It's got your computer carrier. It's really a good deal, and it's free. Okay, the computer's not free, but you know. 597. 597. Surely somebody gets that. There are 2 gifts left. 597. Okay. All right, we'll go one more time. 597. Mina, I'm trying. I'm trying. But it just isn't working, is it? But there's always another meeting. Okay. Oh, no. Let's try it. 347. Oh, good. It's not Lisa. 3, 4. You already have one. Nah, you only get one.
If both chairs were available, I would have.
Yeah. You know, when you get the married folks up here, all of a sudden it's 50-50. 50-50. And when you're selling these things and they tell you about 50-50, I want to be the arbiter. Anyway, 578. 578. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, again, thank you folks very much.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I have one announcement. Our next dinner meeting is, I don't have my things here. It's March, what is it? March the 8th. It's our, what we call our research meeting. And we're going back, Dr. Gothel used to be our advisor, and every year he'd bring in his dissertation students working on dissertations, usually about 3. And Dr. Garcia, our current advisor, we're going back to that this year. So he's got 3 of the students coming. We'll have their profile in our next newsletter. So we hope to see you out for that. So thanks again for coming, and it was a great evening. Thanks again for our guest speaker. One more announcement.
One more tiny announcement. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Regan. I'm the past president of PDK. And I just wanted to let you all know that for the 3rd year in a row, our PDK chapter is hosting a supper. A supper is an opportunity for 15 current USC students to come to dinner on us. And they get to meet with PDK members, alumni of this university, and find a way to connect with us. I had a great opportunity last year when we hosted a supper, and Carol has been at both of our suppers. We do a great job. We host our supper at the Alumni House Boardroom, which is a fantastic place to have dinner with students. And one of the students and I have kept in touch so much over the last year that on Friday we had lunch together at the lab, and she was telling me that she was going abroad to Spain for the semester and has decided that she's going to apply for Teach for America at the end of her senior year. So I'm so excited that we're doing this again. We would very much like to have some additional hosts. So if anyone here tonight is interested in being a host for our supper, we need about 5 or 6 of us who can commit to coming to dinner. It's on Saturday, February 23rd here at USC. We would love to have some additional PDK members who are interested in meeting these 15 amazing students who will be coming to dinner with us. And it's a surprise. They apply online and we find out that night, right, Carol? So please see me before you leave if you're interested in being a host for our supper this year. We're so excited to do this again. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Drive safe.
No, 6:30 is we have wine and.
At the end of her senior year. So I'm so excited that we're doing this again. We would very much like to have some additional hosts. So if anyone here tonight is interested in being a host for our supper, we need about 5 or 6 of us who can commit to coming to dinner. It's on Saturday, February 23rd here at USC. We would love to have some additional PDK members who are interested in meeting these 15 amazing students who will be coming to dinner with us. And it's a surprise. They apply online and we find out that night, right, Carol? So please see me before you leave if you're interested in being a host for our supper this year. We're so excited to do this again. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Drive safe.
No, 6:30 is we have wine and.